Yes, everyone. Now we are actually on live, and today we are going to complete the rest of the chapter, that is the 4, 5, 6 parts which we have actually left out in the previous video. We are going to continue from that. So in the before class, we actually learned about different concepts, right? So first we are going to have a quick recap in just 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. So after that, we'll just move on to the next important topic that we are actually going to learn. Okay. So I guess my voice is clear and my video is also visible, right, properly? Yes, that would be great. Okay, so let us try to understand what we have actually discussed, what we have actually understood in the previous class. So in the previous class, we mainly tried to focus about what are the different nationalist sentiments which are actually brought out, in France. Okay, nationalist sentiments which are actually brought out in France. About all these topics we have actually learned. And the second, we also learned about the Treaty of Vienna, how the liberals actually fought about it, and how actually conservatives have actually formed this Treaty of Vienna. And the third most important thing, actually, a Treaty of Vienna. We also saw about the one of the most important things, that is about the process of formation, about how German was unified, how what actually happened in Germany, how many people have actually formed together. They actually tried to form a national assembly, but why it was not successful also, you have seen that. Until women participation, how women had only been seen as observers, means they're not allowed to go out of the area also. That also you have been actually understood from this, from all the previous classes. Okay, now let us try to understand what is actually the unification process of various countries. Okay, that is a main important thing that we are mainly going to discuss about. Okay, the unification process of different countries. Okay, so if you see here, first we are going to start with the unification process of Germany. So how actually the unification is nothing but, see, as if you see here, so unification. So what is actually unification? Unification is nothing but unifying. That means bringing together all the nation states to form one country, one single country. That means, for example, if you think this is a box, in this all together are the four. You think this box has one country, okay? And this box is actually being ruled by different people. This is ruled by different, and this is ruled by different rulers, and this is ruled by different people. But actually, what happened was that from beginning, from many years together, they have been, was only one country only, because of the outside force. So they have been subjugated, and they have actually divided the country based on what they want. So therefore, they have to all unify together, this all entire nation states, to form a single one nation. They have to form all this. They have to divide. They have to they have to merge all together all these nation states, and they have to form a single nation. So that is the main process of the unification process of Germany and Italy. Okay, that will actually need to try to understand. Okay. Then after that, we are also going to focus. So okay, now let us try to understand how the unification actually happened in Germany. So which country was actually mainly supportive in this unification process, and which country, against which country it actually fought. Also, we are going to see in this topic. So first, if you see the unification process of Germany, first the liberals. So liberals are the people who will actually fight for the freedom. So these liberals have actually fought together for the unification process, but their process was not unsuccessful. Their fighting was not successful. Then the fighting was not successful. So because of which they have decided that they are going to. So if you see here, the liberal initiative for the nation building was, however, repressed. Repressed is nothing but, see, because liberals are the people who are actually fighting for the constitutional parliamentary form of government. But do you think all the people will actually support them? No, they will not actually support them. If you see aristocrats nothing but the people, that is the rich people. They'll not support this, right? Because they want a conservative monarchical form of government. So how do you think that they'll actually support? So because of these aristocrats, they actually suppressed. They actually brought down all the wars and everything which was started by the liberals. So these aristocrats were more dominant over the liberals. They tried to show their superiority over the liberals, and they suppressed all their wars and everything. Okay, and these people. So these large landowners have been called as junkers. So junkers are people, all these large landowners and these aristocrats, all these rich people have been called as junkers. Okay, Then how actually the unification process of Germany actually happened? So the Germany unification process. So the idea of unification process of this Germany was being taken up by Persia. So Persia actually took on the leadership for the unification process of Germany. So what did Persia do? Persia has appointed its chief minister. So if you see here, its chief minister means Persia's chief minister, Persian chief minister. So it has actually appointed the Persian chief minister, that is Otto and Bismarck, in order to help in the process of unification of Germany. So what actually happened means, actually why actually Persia helped means because Persia and Germany have actually formed a what we can actually say is an alliance. You can say a group kind of thing. But they actually formed together so that this will actually help in the unification process. So together they have actually formed the alliance kind of thing together, and they have actually thought that and Persia actually supported Germany that it will help in the process of unification process. So in that process only it has helped. It has Bismarck, who will be the architect for this process. One who will actually help in this unification process. Germany. Okay, that we can actually see. Very important point. Okay, if they ask the unification process of Germany, was first start with the Junkers first point. Then we'll go on with the Persia. Then who was the chief minister? That is the third most important point. And after that, three wars were actually fought. 3 wars over 7 years. In this 7 years also, 3 wars were actually fought against which countries they have actually fought against. If you see here, you can see that Austria, Denmark and France. Against all these countries, Persia has fought against them, and it has resulted in the whose victory? It has resulted in the Persian victory. So the victory was with Persia. That we can actually try to understand from this. Okay. So what actually happened after that was, as you can see here, it has appointed the Persian king William I. So the Persian king, the William I, was appointed as the king of the newly formed Germany at the Palace of Versailles. The Palace of Versailles, he was declared as a king. And as actually Persia has actually helped in the unification process of Germany. So how it will actually help? There should also be some kind of an in return which actually the Germany should give for Persians also. Therefore, so all the rules and regulations which actually followed in Germany also were mostly taken from the were mostly taken from Persia, because Persia has actually helped in the unification process of Germany. So Persia has started to show its dominance over Germany also, because it was the one who actually helped in the process of unifying entire Germany into one union and one nation state. Okay, that we can actually see from it. If we see the last line also, it actually tells us that the nation building process, it has actually demonstrated the dominance of the Persian state, because it was the one which has actually helped in the unification process. So Persian measures and practices were often became a model for the rest of the Germany. As you can see the picture here, this was a proclaiming of the new German Empire. Here you can see the king one is a king Kaiser William I. Kaiser William I, who was the king of Persia, was declared as the king of Germany. Okay, so that we can actually try to understand from this. Okay. Next we will also see that about the process of unification of Italy. How Italy was divided into different nation states. Also, that we are also going to see. So first, if they are going to ask anything from Italy, first you have to mention. First important thing which you are. So this picture is actually showing about this is showing about Otto and Bismarck. Okay, this is a very important picture which can be asked in the board exam. Who is actually being represented in this picture? That is Otto and Bismarck in German Riksdag parliament. Okay, that can be seen here. Okay, so he is actually having the total control. So as you can see, he is actually catching a rope kind of thing, in which he is actually frightened. He is actually scaring the people that all important decisions will be taken by that is Otto and Bismarck only. Okay, that is the important thing which you have to remember from this. Okay, and the unification process of Italy. So when you talk about the unification process of Italy, you must try to understand what regions are being ruled by which rulers. So the Sardinia Piedmont. So this region was actually ruled by only this region in entire Italy was ruled by the Italian princely state. Italian princely state is nothing but Italian monarchy, and rest all other states which are actually there, they are not ruled by Italy. That means they are not under the control of the Italian monarch. They are not under the control of Italian monarch. They were actually ruled by different people. And the north region. So the north region was under the control of Austria. Okay, Austrian Habsburg Empire was ruling the north region. the center. The center was mainly ruled by Po, and the south region was mainly ruled by the Spanish Bourbon dynasty. So Spanish Bourbon dynasty was actually ruling this south region. Okay, that we can actually try to understand from this. So this so first point you have to mention is about the different areas which are actually ruled by different people. You can actually mention this as the first point, this as the second point. Okay. Next important thing is about the different kind of languages that are spoken. As you can see in the French, the first page, that is how different languages are actually brought in. That means French language was mainly used for the official purposes. But this cannot be done in Italy because Italy had many dialects. Italian language was having many dialects. Dialects are nothing but it is a kind of various forms. For example, if you see any other Hindi, if you have any other Sanskrit or Telugu or any Malayalam, Tamil. So different regions will have different kind of languages. So each region will try to speak its own form of a language. For example, Telugu also we have many other languages. So it's Telangana Telugu, Andhra Pradesh Telugu. Then we have Rayalaseema Telugu. Then we have different kind of Telugu languages also. That means they are called as different dialects of Telugu. Well, those are called as different dialects of Telugu language. In the similar way, Italian language did not have only one form. It was having different dialects and different forms that we can actually try to understand from this. So if you see, Italian language had actually not acquired one common form. It had many regional variations, that is dialects. Okay, many dialects can also be seen. This you can mention as third point. Okay, then after that we are trying to see about the unification process. Very important point, first point. In this unification process, what actually happened was that Giuseppe Mazzini, as you know, Giuseppe Mazzini was a leader who actually formed two secret societies. So he formed a secret society, that is Young Europe. He actually formed a Young Europe in Bern, and he also formed Young Italy in Marseille, right? So he formed a Young Italy in Marseille. So he formed these two secret societies in order to help for the unification process of Italy. So with the help of Young Italy, which he actually formed what we can say actually he formed this underground secret society. With the help of it, he tried for the unification process, but he was actually failed because the failure of the revolution uprising in both actually meant that so what happened, so with the help of this secret society, that is Young Italy in Marseille, he actually tried on the unification process, but it was not successful. So because of it, the unification process, because of it, the process of unification of Italy went on to the Italian princely state, that is who was actually ruling the Sardinia-Piedmont region. So this Sardinia-Piedmont region was actually ruled by Italy, right? So the ruler, that is King Victor Emmanuel II. So King Victor Emmanuel II, he took on the leadership for the unification process of Italy. That we can actually try to understand from this. Okay, so he was the one who was actually ruling the Sardinia-Piedmont region. So he decided that let me actually try for the unification process of Italy. So he was a king, so he actually decided that he will do over the unification process. Why he actually decided that the unification process is very much important? Because unification process will actually help him in the process of easy administration. For example, if different regions actually are ruled by different people, it will become a difficult administration also. So for it will actually help in the easy administration, and also it will also help him in the economic development also, continuous equal economic development also. It will actually help in that process also. These two things only based on so for these two things, he actually decided that he will actually unify Italy. Okay, that we can actually try to understand from this. Okay, so King Victor Emmanuel II, he decided that he will take on the leadership for the unification process of Italy. So now the important chief minister Cavour will actually come into picture. So who was this Cavour? So Cavour, as you know, as you see here, Cavour is a chief minister. He was considered as a chief minister of Italy. So what did actually Cavour do? So Cavour have actually done what actually Cavour did that So K had actually done that. So he actually spoke French better than Italian. So being in Italy, being a chief minister of Italy, he actually spoke French better than Italian. French, which was very much better than Italian. So therefore he actually formed an alliance with France. So France actually helped in the unification process of Italy. Okay, before Prussia actually helped in the unification process of Germany. In a similar way, France also helped in the unification process. So the Sardinia-Piedmont region mainly succeeded in defeating the Austrian forces. So as you know that the north region was ruled by the Austrian Habsburg Empire. So with the help of the alliance with France, Italy was able to defeat the Austrian Habsburg Empire in the north region and got the control over that. And during that time, very importantly, that is Giuseppe Garibaldi actually came into the picture. Who is actually this Giuseppe Garibaldi? Who is actually a military soldier. He was actually the military soldier. And he actually he had a great influence among the people also. Therefore, because of it, a large number of armed volunteers also came together for the leadership, under the leadership of the Giuseppe Garibaldi. So with the help of the local peasants also, they were able to drive away. The help of the local peasants also, they were able to win the regions of the South Italy. That is, they were able to remove the Spanish Bourbon dynasty and the kingdom of Two Sicilies also. They gained control of these two important regions also. And during that time, the King Victor Emmanuel II. You see, the King Victor Emmanuel II was actually was called as the main head of Italy. Was considered to be the king of Italy. Okay, of United Italy. So all these points must go in the picture. So there, if you see the fourth point actually told about. So in this, everything must go. If when a unification process is asked for 5-mark question, all the things should be given. So it is not that 5 points are given, only 5 marks will get. No, you have to give each and every point, the entire process you have to give it. So you can give it either in a crisp and a very small way also, or you can just ignore those not important points like language point, you can just ignore, but you have to mention the rest all other points till here. Till here, when a question is asked, you have to mention till here everything. Okay. Now let us try to understand the unification process of United Kingdom. So before we actually go into, let me check the live stream. 1 moment. Okay. Okay, it's coming perfectly, right? Okay. So let us continue. Now let us try to understand the strange case of Britain. What was the strange case of Britain? In Britain, this condition was totally different. So what was the main condition in Britain that we'll actually try to understand from this? Okay. So if you see in Britain, there were different kind of people who are actually living in Britain. So who are those people? The first one are the Welsh, the Scottish, the Irish, and the English. So these were the different kind of people who are actually living in England, that is, who are actually living in United Kingdom, present day United Kingdom. But during that time, it was divided into different regions. So based on their language, based on the ethnic composition, based on the culture, based on the tradition, they have been divided into different states together. But over time, what we can actually see that these were the different ethnic groups that are actually present. Ethnic groups are nothing but the different cultural groups, different traditional groups, based on the religion, based on the language. Those kind of groups are called as ethnic groups. Okay. So what actually happened in this case was that, as if you see, during so since many long years also, English actually had a much greater power as compared to other regions also. Because over time what happened was that English was actually gaining more and more power in the terms of education, in terms of power, in terms of military support, in terms of political support also. Education, English language was also, English people, English is not the language here referring to. English people are actually growing in a great importance also. That we can actually see from this. So what actually happened was that so English people steadily grew on the wealth, importance, and power also. Okay, they also started to extend its influence other minorities and other groups also. That is Welsh, Scottish, and the Irish people. So what actually happened? They tried to show their dominance and superiority other these religions. So because of which they actually what happened? They actually the English Parliament, which had actually seized the power for monarchy at the end of the protracted conflict, also was the instrument to the nation state, which England as its center came to be forged. So they also came together. The National Assembly was actually being set up in England. That we can actually try to understand from this. Okay. Then we also see that English has actually formed an Act of Union. What is this Act of Union? Very important question to be asked. The Act of Union of 1707. So what was this Act of Union of 1707? So this Act of Union was mainly formed between Scott and the English. And together these two countries came together to form the United Kingdom of Great Britain. So these two countries, as you can see here, they formed an Act of Union to form a United Kingdom of Great Britain. So a United Kingdom of Great Britain was actually formed in this coordination with this both the countries together. But who will be the main in power? The English will always be the main power because they had more importance in the kind of wealth, education, power, or everything. They had more importance. Therefore, English people have started to suppress. They started to discriminate the Scottish people also. They were not allowed to speak their Gaelic language also. They were not allowed to follow their culture. Their language was not strictly prohibited. Only English language was mainly encouraged. That is, British English language was mainly encouraged. And everything was done in order to show their dominance, in order to show English dominance over the Scottish and the Scottish people. Okay, that we can actually try to see from that. Okay, then British identity meant that Scottish distinctive culture and political institution were systematically suppressed. Means they were not allowed to do anything. So they were completely suppressed together. Suppressed in the sense that they were actually not allowed to express their language or culture, as you can see in the case of the Poland also. Poland came actually under the control of Russia. So because of which they were not allowed to speak their language also. Even they are arrested also for speaking their own language. In that same situation can be seen in England also, in this United Kingdom also. So Scottish people were they felt that they were actually completely discriminated under the influence and under the dominance of the English people. That we can actually try to see from this. Okay. In a similar way, what actually happened was that in Ireland the condition was totally different. The condition in Ireland was also. See, for what happened was that in Ireland, so Ireland was also separate before the unification of United Kingdom. So in Ireland, what happened was, first important thing, that two different groups are actually there. They are the Protestants. Okay. They were Protestants and the Catholics. So Catholics were more, the majority of the Catholics was always more here. So the majority of the Catholics was always more. So what happened was that English took on, so the majority of the Catholics were there. So that the more power is actually being given to the Catholics also only, no. So but what happened? Britain. So Britain took the side of Protestants. So Britain actually supported the Protestants and they defeated the Catholics. That is a majority, that is the Catholics. So in that process, see why Britain will actually help in the Protestants, because if it actually help with the Protestants also, this will actually, so see, Britain will not do anything for free. So it will do something for its own benefit also. So finally, after this war which actually happened also, the Ireland was also merged into United Kingdom of Great Britain. That we can actually try to understand from this. Okay, United Kingdom of Great Britain also, this was actually merged. Okay, that we'll also understand from this. So, and always Britain language also was mainly encouraged everywhere. British language was encouraged, and God Save Our Noble King, this was a national anthem of Britain, which was actually followed everywhere. They are also actively promoted, and the older nations actually survived only as a subordinates partners in this union. See, the older nations, who are the older nations? The Welsh, the Scottish and the Irish people also, they all suffer the similar fate. Similar fate is nothing but they are all suppressed and dominated by the English people. So because of which they were only being seen as minorities in minorities under the superiority of the English people. That we can actually try to understand from this. Okay. This picture is also very important. This one is King Victor Emmanuel II. King Victor, and this is Giuseppe Garibaldi. So you can actually read this text so that you can easily understand. Next most important thing is about this picture. So this picture is, now here comes the as you have actually seen the nationalism in India, people have actually started to identify themselves with the pictures and with the help of the statues, with the help of different kind of images also. They started to unify themselves with their respective nation. So what they have actually used, they have used pictures. So with the help of the pictures, the help of images both are same, with the help of statues, they started to they started to think that they actually belong to that kind of nation. So they have started to come together with the help of these pictures. They have started to unify. The nationalism actually have actually spread out in the people of different kind of world, because they have started to imagine themselves with the kind of pictures they actually see. So in that process only we can actually see Marianne. So Marianne was a person. Okay, 1 minute. So Marianne was actually a person. So who was actually this Marianne? So Marianne was a person. So this woman was actually being seen as a symbol of bringing the liberty, that is justice, and also republic. So this was actually seen because people have started to imagine themselves. They became more connected towards their own nation when they are actually being represented with the help of female figures. That is allegory. Allegory is nothing more when anything, that is whether it is republic, whether it is justice, whether it is kind of republic, justice, liberty, anything are being represented with the help of a picture, a statue kind of thing, then that is called as allegory. Okay, that we can actually try to understand from this. Okay. Then here comes the important thing, that is Germania. So who was actually this Germania? So this so as you can see here, the Marianne we can see, then we can see, so I'll explain everything. Okay. So this was also an important figure. Germania was also an important figure in Germany. As you can see in the first picture also here. Here also this picture of Germania was actually put up here. Here the picture of Germania. This mainly represented the people's liberty, justice, and republic. Okay. So people actually became close to the nation when they had actually been represented with the help of the pictures and the images. It actually made them actually sure about their nationalist sentiments also. So this was actually seen. So this was a picture about Marianne, very important. This is a picture about Germania. And definitely one question. So definitely one question about the Germania will definitely come in the exam. So in this 10 minutes you can actually complete it. Okay, let's not worry. So Germania, so let us try to understand what were the different things which actually represented Germania. As you can see here, so the broken chains will actually represent that being free. So as you can see the broken chains here, As you can see the broken chains here, the broken chains over here, this mainly represented that being freed. Means able to go everywhere, go anywhere they want. That mainly represented the broken chains represented the being freed, being able to go wherever they want. And as you can see here the oak leaves. On the top of Germania you can see the oak leaves, right? These oak leaves mainly represented that being heroism. They mainly represented the heroism. This all you have to remember. So the breastplate, as you can see, the breastplate on the chest, you can actually see that mainly represented the strength. This mainly represents the strength. Okay. Then the sword. Sword actually you can see the willingness to fight in the wars also. As you can see the sword, readiness to fight in the wars also. Okay. Then we can also see the oak leaves. The oak leaves around the sword will make sure that they are also willingness, they are actually showing the willingness to make peace. Willingness to make peace is nothing but, see, for example, if there are some people who actually think that wars will actually bring destruction and everything, so they are actually in the process, they're actually believing that we can actually make the peace also. Therefore, because of which they actually formed the oak leaves around the sword. Okay, and olive branch around the sword. As you can see, the olive branch around the sword. Okay, and that is one which is actually telling about willingness to make peace. Okay, then black, red and golden tricolor. Black, red and golden tricolor is actually telling us about the German flag. Okay, this was a flag of Germany. Okay, then the rays of the rising sun. As you can see, the rays of the rising sun from here, these are actually representing the new nation. That means a bright future. This actually represents about the beginning of new era. It's a new system is actually been set up. So that is actually been told here. As you can see, this is the picture of Germany, that is fallen Germany. Fallen Germany because of all the wars and different kind of situations that actually prevail in Germany. We can see the fallen Germania because as you know, the Germany actually represented all these important things. That is the war, as you can see picture here, the being free, being strength, the willingness to make peace, readiness to fight in the war, the rays of the rising sun, and the crown with all these things show the heroism and everything. But what happened was that because of all these wars, these were not applicable. Means these were not being followed by any of the people. Therefore, this was therefore fallen Germany was actually being seen. Okay. This one also shows about Germany guarding the Rhine. So in 1816, the artist Lawrence Clasen was commissioned in order to paint this image. So inscription shows that Germany's sword protects the German Rhine. German Rhine is nothing, German land. So Germany will actually help in the protecting the Germany also, protecting the country also. That we can mainly see. Then we have only 5 minutes left, so we have to quickly complete. So now let us try to understand the imperialism. So very important. Imperialism is nothing. Nationalism is nothing but a sense of building, sentiments, nationalist sentiments. That means a closure to the nation, or understanding our entire nation, bringing a kind of, with the help of all the folklores, the folk songs, folk dances and everything, a kind of bringing loving their own nation, being more patriotic, that we can actually see as nationalism. Imperialism is nothing but trying to occupy the other nations, that we can actually see as imperialism. They're trying to extend other countries, other territories. If you see Britain also, Britain was an imperialistic country, when it was actually trying to occupy other regions. Therefore, Britain was an imperialist country. And if you say Britain, France, Dutch, Germany, Portuguese also, they actually traded with our country and they also tried to occupy our country also. They were all seen as imperialists. Okay, imperialism, nationalists, you can also see. Then colonialism, very important. These 3 important terms, that is imperialism, colonialism, and imperialism and colonialism is nothing but one country which is actually more superior is trying to suppress and oppress suppress one another country. That is seen as colonialism. Means one country which is then supreme, having the supreme power and the dominant power, is trying to suppress. Is actually trying to suppress the people. It's actually trying to suppress the lower, the people who have less power. Okay, this was the main situation. So this is called as colonialism. Okay, that will mainly try to understand. So what was a Balkan region? Why Balkan region was seen to be a region with the intense conflict? Why it was seen like that? Let us try to understand it now. So Balkan region was seen as a region with the intense conflict. So this was mainly because, as you can see here, Balkan region mainly consisted of the present-day countries like Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, then Croatia, then you can see Slovenia, then Serbia and Montenegro. So these are the different countries. So the present-day countries, these are present-day countries. But during that time, all these countries together were under the control of the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire was very powerful, and all main important countries were under the ruling of the Ottoman Empire. And it was believed that the people, the inhabitants of this region, are being called as Slavs. So the spread of the ideas of the romantic nationalism. So see, as you know, the romantic nationalism actually spread out to Belgium because of this. It actually spread out from the Kingdom of Netherlands. It actually got separated from the Kingdom of Netherlands. Second, what happened was then Greece. Greece also tried its level best for the unification process with the help of Treaty of Constantinople. It got separated from Ottoman Empire. In the similar way, there are all nation states were also been fighting for their lost independence. They are saying that they are actually saying that first they are all independent only, because of the outside forces, because of the outside powers, they have been subjugated, they have been taken power, they have been actually been taken control by other regions, they have been colonized by other nations. So they are actually demanding that, they are actually fighting for their long lost freedom. Long lost freedom is nothing but because of the outside forces, because of the outside superior and the dominant forces, they have been subjugated, they have been colonized, and they're actually fighting for their freedom of their country. So that is the main aim, that is for the independent, they want their independent nations. So when actually Ottoman Empire got to know about this, okay, now let us try to see this Ottoman Empire, because this Ottoman Empire is very important, because this all regions are very important. So Ottoman Empire also tried for the unification process, tried for the it actually tried to strengthen itself through modernization, internal reforms, but this was unsuccessful. And because of it has very little success also, because of which it was not able to have the control, because all these important regions want to separate themselves from the Ottoman Empire. So because of all these things, they were not ready to actually fight against all these things. Okay, so because of which they're actually they're actually fighting for their long lost freedom and the independence. Okay, so and all the countries, so what happened, so all the countries, that is Russia, Germany, England and Austria and everything, they were very much keen, they were very much interested in order to gain power over this Ottoman Empire. What will one do, no? When one thing is actually breaking up, no, other outside people, what they'll try to see, they'll also come into the will actually come into that, and they'll try to occupy, they'll actually think that this is the best option, so that they can actually gain control over these regions. In the similar way, the Russia, Germany, England and Austria-Hungary also thought that they can actually gain control over these regions. So during that time, because of which it actually led to the First World War, because they were very much keen, they were very much interested in order to gain the territory. And in the Balkan region, each country was jealous of the other country, therefore it tried to occupy other regions also. One country is trying to be imperialistic, that means it is trying to extend its country's border to other countries also. So therefore all these imperialistic measures can also be seen, have actually brought the destruction, have made this Balkan region very explosive, it means very difficult, very much difficult in order to handle. Therefore this was seen as an intense rivalry among the, was seen among the people. Okay, people and the countries also. And as you see, this is a picture which is mainly representing the map of British Empire. That means all the colonies which were under the control of British. So India was under control. India means present Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, then Bhutan, then Nepal, and all is under Pakistan also, and Australia, then South Africa, then United Kingdom here, then Canada. So all these regions were under the control of Britain. That we can actually try to understand from this. That means Britain is trying to be imperialistic. Okay, about 1 minute is only there, it is going to end. So this is actually showing the European map, which is actually showing the British map. Okay, so from this we actually come to the end of this chapter. This actually shows the anti-imperial movements that developed everywhere were actually nationalists. Anti-imperial movements, that means they were against this against the idea of occupying and extending its territories to the other lands. So with the help of this, we actually understood about the different national unification process of different countries. Okay, that will actually mainly try to understand from this entire thing. Okay, so with that we actually complete the chapter. So if you have any doubts also, you can just comment them down, so that I'll definitely check them and I will respond to them immediately also. So you can just comment them down, and I'll also try to see if more comments I'm actually getting, then I'll try to make sure that I'll make another video also that about all these doubts also. Okay. So this actually brought out a sense of collective national unity and forged into confrontation with the imperialism. So the European ideas of nationalism were nowhere to be replicated, for the people everywhere developed their own specific variety of nationalism. So but the idea that societies should be organized into nation states came to be accepted as a natural and a universal. Means people actually thought that their states should always be together, they should not be divided. Okay, so they all thought that the nation states should be good together, they should not be separated based on the culture, tradition or anything. So that we'll actually try to understand from this chapter. So with this, I'm actually ending the live. Okay, thank you everyone.